Meeting Cassandra was the beginning of the end. It was a foggy, moonless night when our paths crossed. She appeared like a specter in the dimly lit alley, her topaz eyes glowing with an eerie allure. Something about her drew me in, like a moth to a flame, and I couldn't resist the temptation to get to know her. Cassandra, she introduced herself with a sweet smile, her voice as smooth as silk. "Would you like to join me for a drink?" Her crimson lips curled into a mysterious grin, and I found myself nodding in agreement before I could even think twice. We spent hours talking in that dimly lit bar, her laughter like an enchanting melody. Cassandra was captivating, and I was drawn to her like a magnet. But as the night wore on, a sinister undercurrent began to taint the evening. She started speaking of ancient rituals and the power of her god, Azagoroth. Her words seemed to seep into my very soul, filling me with a sense of dread. Cassandra's eyes never left mine as she spoke of her devotion to Azagoroth, a deity from a long-forgotten cult. She explained that she was chosen to bring forth his presence, but to do so, she needed a willing sacrifice. I dismissed it as an elaborate joke, a dark fantasy meant to spook me on a spooky night. As the clock struck midnight, Cassandra slipped a small vial of liquid from her pocket, her eyes never leaving mine. She raised her glass, and I followed suit, not suspecting a thing. A subtle, sinister smile played across her lips as we clinked our glasses, and I took a sip of the liquid within. The room began to spin, and my vision blurred. The last thing I saw before darkness claimed me was Cassandra's face, her eyes now blazing with an unholy fervor. I woke up with a pounding headache in a dimly lit room. My hands were bound to a rickety wooden chair, and panic coursed through my veins as I tried to make sense of my surroundings. Cassandra stood before me, her presence now shrouded in an otherworldly aura. She began to chant in a language I couldn't understand, her voice deep and resonant. The room grew colder, and an oppressive darkness hung in the air. My heart raced as I realized I was at the center of some unholy ritual. The air above me began to shimmer and warp, and a portal formed, a swirling vortex of shadows and malevolence. As Cassandra continued her chant, a massive arm, dark and grotesque, emerged from the portal. It stretched towards me, fingers like gnarled, skeletal branches. My breath caught in my throat as terror consumed me. I struggled against my restraints, but they held me fast. The grotesque arm reached closer, its fingers brushing against my skin, sending shivers down my spine. Cassandra's chanting grew louder, more urgent, as if she was drawing Azagoroth himself into the room. I could feel the malevolent presence of the god growing stronger with each passing moment. As the dark arm descended upon me, a sense of hopelessness enveloped me. I was bound, helpless, and about to become the sacrifice Cassandra needed to summon her deity. The world around me blurred, and I couldn't tell if the arm was real or a nightmare conjured by my own fear. The last thing I saw before the arm engulfed me was Cassandra's face, her eyes burning with a fanatical devotion to her god. And then, darkness swallowed me whole. The room faded away, and I found myself in a nightmarish realm of shadows and despair. It was a place where darkness took on a haunting life of its own. Ghostly shapes, twisted and amorphous, roamed this eerie realm, and an unnatural, echoing roar erupted from them whenever they caught sight of me. Their roars sent a shiver down my spine, as if their very existence defied the laws of nature. As I struggled to make sense of this horrifying place, I began to notice a dreadful change within myself. I could feel my own flesh and bones slowly transforming into a shadowy, insubstantial form. My limbs elongated into ethereal tendrils, and my body became a mere silhouette of what it once was. Panic surged through me as I realized that I was becoming one of them, one of the grotesque, wailing shadows that haunted this bleak realm. The shadows moved closer, their hollow eyes fixed on me. They seemed to beckon me, urging me to join in their chorus of eerie roars. A powerful, irresistible urge welled up within me, a desire to let out a deafening roar like the other shadows. I fought against it, struggling to retain my humanity in this malevolent place. But the temptation grew stronger with each passing moment. As I grappled with the impending transformation, the boundary between myself and the nightmarish shadows blurred. It was as if this dark realm was consuming my very essence, assimilating me into its twisted tapestry of despair. The shadows' roar became a cacophony, a maddening symphony of anguish and torment, and I could no longer resist the compulsion to join them. With a tormented cry, I let out a roar that echoed through the shadowy abyss. My voice blended seamlessly with the chorus of the shadows, and in that moment, I surrendered to the darkness that surrounded me. I had become one of them, a lost soul in this forsaken realm.